back in here. I should say 8:15. Oh wait, go back, pull it down a little bit. Make the camera. Okay, that's fine. A little bit. Over there. That's fine. Who's that? Oh, it's Christina. Okay. Now, is it still sideways? If it's still sideways, type 2. Okay, alright, thanks. Please turn off that light. Yeah. Okay, thanks. Alright, waiting for my guests to join the live. What are you sipping on? You got some wine tonight? Say he was ready with it. Yeah. No. Well, that's alright. Mm-hmm. What'd you say? Okay. You should ask to join me. Okay, can you press it? Oh man. Cool. Hey, are you there?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, let going.
Can I use these?
I don't know. Can you hear us? Or can you hear me?
I hear you now. Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you too. So that should be straight.
One second.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Nice.
I can hear you. Hey Rob, can you come pull the camera up again?
Yeah, you froze.
Now I'm frozen?
Yeah. Oh, it's doing this like turning circular thing.
Oh no.
Oh, like it's loaded.
I can see you though.
Yeah, I can see you,
Okay.
but you're like I see you smiling. That was the last time I.
Alright, but you can hear me though, right?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Okay. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Yeah, it's lagging a little bit, but it's okay. We're gonna do all right.
Okay.
All right.
We here. We here.
We here. Okay. So tonight we're gonna be talking about burnout. And I have my special guest here. So he's going to tell you a little bit about himself while we do a 5-minute duel. And if you could tell us about yourself in 5 minutes and tell us why you're using whatever creative tool you're using tonight. I guess pencil. So,
Oh, nice. Uh,
yep,
my
5 minutes.
name. Oh, cool. My government name, Corey, but my artist name is Photo Lear. My choice tonight of weaponry is the old trusty Sharpie. Uh, there's not a lot to. I'm not really a big fan of talking about myself, but I
Wow,
will say this: I'm all for mental health and creating a dialogue about it.
cool. All right. Well, thank you for sharing. So we're gonna go ahead and jump into the interview. Or do you have a drink tonight too? Do you have a drink with you?
Oh yeah, I'm actually drinking a glass of wine, but I'm drinking in a friend and former owner myself of a FAFO, which stands for One for All for One, is the cup of choice.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, I'm drinking 19 Crimes with Snoop Dogg, red wine out of one of my favorite tumblers that my best friend got
I'll
me.
taste it.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay, cool. All right, so I guess we can go into talking about burnout. And I just wanted to just kind of highlight one of the pieces that I did on this subject like a while ago. It's actually in 2018. And I don't know, can you see
Yeah.
here? Like it's a woman kind of like with a whole bunch of bags, like just falling all over the place. And
In
she's
the background?
trying to territory, but she can't because she's like being controlled by all this other baggage and stuff. So this is what I love to do, like just anything I can get my hands on, like this is real fabric and just anything I can get my hands on. That's what how I like to make my art. So all right, cool.
Mm.
Well,
I guess I'll skip that part when you actually asked me, so I guess go back to it. I'm a photographer. I love video. These are the things I use to actually do my art, like you said. Um, yeah.
okay,
I
cool.
just wanted to be a little bit more specific.
All right. Well, yes, thank you for telling us more about yourself.
Yeah.
So all right, so burnout. What do you
Mm.
think? How would you define burnout?
Uh, a state of mind.
State of mind. Okay. So like, but how would you describe that state of mind? Like, is it frantic or what do you see during that state? Like, can you describe it?
Uh, a lack of nutrients.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, like a lack of nutrients, a lack of water. Um, again, like burnout for me is just like saying it's a form, another form of stress. You've allowed yourself now, whatever guilt you've actually put on yourself,
Mm-hmm.
to actually burn yourself out by continuously saying yes when you know that there's times that you should say no.
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, I agree. Boundaries are so important to prevent burnout for sure, for sure. So
yeah,
the definition that the American Psychological Association, which is APA, I'm going to say that for the rest of the interview because it's shorter, APA.
mm,
So
got you.
define burnout is more than just being worn out. It's like overwhelming exhaustion, cynicism, detachment, a sense of
Mm,
ineffectiveness, and a lack of accomplishment. So I know I've been there before, time and time again, to be honest, and just didn't know what to call it. So
yeah, yeah, same here.
can you attest to like the first time you ever had burnout or experienced burnout?
I think when I first experienced burnout, I didn't know what it was. Again, that's why I keep saying about nutrients. When I started to meditate and change my diet, that's when I started to realize what burnout was.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because then I was able to actually see myself versus just actually going through the motions, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, definitely. Because you're just like
Yeah.
on autopilot at some point. Like, but at that
From the
point,
time we wake up.
yeah, yeah. Sometimes, like for me, I feel like when I get to that point, it's too late. Like, I'm already,
Yeah.
I, I have a funky attitude, like, and I don't understand why. Like, I'm complaining more about things. So it's just
And
really,
mine,
hmm
in my experience, has been the lack of water.
hmm
The times I eat at night, the time I go to bed. You know, I'm 53 years old, so I have to think about my health. But in this last 5 to 6 years, I've drank alkaline water. Like, you know what I mean? I haven't drank just, regular water or so
yeah,
these things have actually improved my way of has opened my what is the gland that you have in your head that is it can get crusted? The
intuitive,
gland that helps us. Yes.
yeah,
So when you start brushing that off and thinking for yourself, it's usually because you've changed your diet. And
right,
I mean diet as far as music is concerned, what you listen to, what you ingest, because everything starts from the inside and then it goes to the outside.
yeah, I agree. So that's for sure. Like if you don't check in with what's going on inside your body, that's it's definitely gonna affect the outside. So yeah, definitely balance is really important. So like when you find that you're in that state of burnout, like what do you do to get out of it? And that's all right. Nothing wrong with that at all.
At all.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
You see
So
what the CDC said?
for sure. They did say well you guys got to go do some research. We don't talk about that because we mess up the money here, but
Exactly, exactly. Yeah. But no, I'm just going by with the news and everything that's actually being said out there. The world's a great place, as far as I love to say. Humans are great. We're complex creatures. Burnout actually does, for me, it does come from the over aggressive, hypersensitive nature that we endure in that 24 hours.
yeah. So
365 days of the year.
yeah, and if you don't take the time to take a break or at least take a like you said you do meditation, like I mean, I know for me, it was really hard for me to just sit down and do nothing. Like it took a long time for me to get a meditation practice because my mind is always just going, going, going. Like I could be, yeah, like just writing and drawing all night, all day. So it was really hard for me to just sit down. So a lot of times when I've experienced burnout, it has been like you said, I didn't even know. And then like I would get really sick or something would happen to someone else. And then my body's like, hey, pay attention. Like, so yeah.
Yep.
So that's another question I have. Like, do you think there's certain times that you experience burnout, or is it like a continuous cycle for you? Or have you ever experienced that at different times due to different traumatic events? Or just experiences that you've seen or been right there.
Yeah, well, again, I got therapy when I was younger, and I still go to therapy. I've just talked. I think we talked about it, but talk therapy. At the
Yeah,
end of the day, the ideas and the thoughts that you have in your head that can actually burn you out because your brain is your worst enemy. It ain't the people. It's what you think about yourself.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So now you're creating that constant um, guilt. Uh,
Hmm. Yeah,
So
so,
again, like, and then and look, let me say this: every day is not the same. There's so many elements that actually uh, or what am I looking for? There's so many elements to us outside of us, distractions, everything else. So every day's not the same. So the burnout could come 2 days later, 4 days later. It just depends on, for me, what the situation is.
Yeah, I agree. Like it does.
I close my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
I close my eyes because I'm a visionary person. So
No,
sometimes I have to close my eyes to see what I'm saying.
it's good. So yeah, so I definitely think that there's different types of burnout, different levels. Like if you were to like
mm,
categorize those, like what would you think the different levels of burnout would be?
mm. I never thought about it that way. I just looked at it as just burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I guess I don't know if I ever like really looked at my life and being at a burnout stage. Well, let me say this. I have a problem with boredom. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't stay with anything long.
Yeah.
So if I get bored in it, I'm always looking for the new thing to create. So
Right.
that stops me from having that so much doubt, which is I feel like is a part of burnout.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
So it stops a lot of things by me doing
Definitely.
that. If I
Yeah.
answered the question, I think.
I agree because like there's so many times where I get in my own way, like what you said, like with my own thoughts, and then like when I don't talk about it with others,
Yeah.
like that's because yeah, like I'll try to say, oh, I don't want to burden everybody else with my problems, so I'll just
Right.
internalize
Yep.
it and be like, oh yeah, like I can handle all these 50 million things I got going on, but I'm really breaking down inside, like no. So,
And
so
it's funny, I appreciate you actually inviting me here because this type of dialogue actually needs to actually happen.
for
Because
sure,
everybody feels this. I don't care how much money you got, I don't care how poor you are. At the
yeah,
end of the day, we live in a societal way. And in living in the society we actually live in, we have to feed off of one another
right,
before we go asking, for anything else from anybody else. You know what I mean? And
right,
health is important to even do that.
yeah. So that brings me to my next question. Like, do you think that you can actually take on other people's like burnt out energy?
Yes.
How and like how? Like has
I
that
was like, if I gotta, it might sound stupid, but
oh
osmosis. Yeah, it's osmosis.
yeah,
Remember, people love each other because we got parents, you know what I mean? So at the end of the day, we love each other, regardless if we know each other or not. So that's the energy that we share in ourselves.
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So yeah, if somebody else is feeling a certain way, you could feel that. One of the things I always say, your energy, success, anything depends on the people you put around you.
yeah, for sure. I
So
definitely
if you don't have anybody challenging you, then burnout could be a lot more, I think.
yeah,
But if you have friends around that's creating dialogue and challenging the belief that you feel about yourself, that burnout now is less.
right. That's true. Hmm.
That's
So
just for me. Like,
yeah, I think so. I think so. But okay. Yeah, see, that's interesting. You said that's for you because I had to start being. I'm a really stubborn person. So like, if I'm in my ways, like I'm gonna be mad, like because and
right.
everybody in this room is gonna feel it until I'm done being mad. And that's how I used to go. I don't really do that like that no more. If you ask my husband, it's a different story. But now I'm talking about. So, but yeah, I used to be really hesitant to be like, okay, well, people would try to be positive around me and stuff. I'm like, ugh, that's so fake. Like, I don't want to hear that. Life is crap. Like. But I had to understand where that energy was coming from. Do soul searching and mental health work with my own therapist and mentors and whatnot. And you just realize like
Yeah,
it's not even your energy to be carrying. So go do something else.
right.
So
We're more interested in other people's lives than ours, because that's what, the world tells us to do. But
right.
when you start focusing on you, that's when everything starts falling into place. Like, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
always tell people I'm never talking against anything out here in this world. Everything's needed. That's why I say we're beautiful creatures. But at the end of the day, we don't handle things well because we're very reactionary versus proactive.
Yeah.
So, like when you see it happen to one or two people, how the fuck you think it ain't gonna happen to you? Like, you know what I mean? Or is a possibility? Like, you still live out here with everybody else. Like,
Right. Yeah. So
but we're so selfish in our trauma that
right.
we cut everybody else.
Mm, yeah.
I only speak on that because I know that, coming from doing that type of behavior. Like I
Mm,
always say, that's why I say therapy is important for all of us. I don't give a damn if you get it or not. Just go and be able to talk to somebody about your childhood. Those ass whoopings you took or whatever it might have took. I mean, that you went through, or the bullying or whatever it is that's holding you at bay, at stopping you from being your greatest,
right.
adult. You have to actually deal with those. And if you got kids, if you don't, your kids gonna deal with it
Yeah.
and deal with theirs.
Yeah. They definitely gonna show you. For sure.
Man.
So
They're your eyes. They
what?
see you better than you see yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I was babysitting my nephew the other day and he just started doing some stuff that like I was the only child in my house and he started doing some stuff that like I seen little Mika doing and I was like, "Oh no, like you can't just be doing that. Like you can't talk like that. Like stop. Like this is wild." So yes, you're definitely right. They will show you. They will show you
Mm.
for sure. So what age
That wasn't.
I'm sorry,
Go
what
ahead.
you say?
No, and I was gonna say that was another thing that stopped me from burnout. Having my daughter, like having my daughter actually open my eyes to my child. You know what I mean? You get to see yourself, and then you start. For me, I started questioning how
Right.
I came up, this, that. Oh, and some of us, it's hard because you end up parenting scared, so you don't really like give like the best. You know what I mean? Advice you think in your head, even again in that perspective, and then that'll be a parenting burnout, like you said. There's levels to this being burnt out.
For sure. And
Yeah. So she was like the one that actually just anything, like, watching her grow up, watching the questions that she had, and then just continuing this to be me, like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Flaws and all, you know what I mean?
So like
I went way off on that.
no, it's fine. It's fine because that brings me to another question. Like when you what age do you think the average American is experiencing burnout?
Maybe 7 or 8, depending if you want a chess king or chess, queen, um, at 7 or 8 years old, because you see that they got a talent that you want to actually take and push because you didn't push your talent. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
a burnout on a 7 and 8 year old right there. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Well, you gotta be up at 8:30. You gotta make sure you drink your orange juice. Come on, man, cut that shit out.
You're right. Like that's interesting that you say that age because all of the most of the articles I was reading, of course, they didn't talk about children at all, which I thought was
Yeah.
ridiculous. They were saying that the age for burnout is 32. And I'm just like, okay, so who are you asking? Like, who are you asking? Like, like, yeah, it's definitely like surveys not being done in my community, like, because like you said, I know young men that have been dealing with things that would drive the average person to all types of halfway houses and everything. Like just from yeah. So I don't know who they're asking, which brings me to another thing. Who do you think is more likely to experience burnout, men or women?
It's funny. When it comes to men and women with me, something that we're actually missing, and that's environments. So we know I try to stay away from race sometimes in conversations, but
Mm-hmm.
again, some of the questions that we ask of ourselves actually can't be answered as a whole. So you have to answer for me. You have to answer it from only the place I know. So environmentally, the answer that I would give because of my environment would actually speak to, that stress being, you catch that at like 7, 8 years old. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, yeah. I
But I
agree.
think also too, though, I think women more so than men, only because of the ability to actually create the world. Like, there's nothing here without a woman. So, you know what I mean? Nobody else can give birth. Like, like, so
So do you think it's like, I guess the amount of responsibility that we think that we have, and then all this
who,
other,
women?
yeah.
Well, I think it's our body. Like, the world and things take a toll on your body. I don't think that a lot of our bodies take the toll that a woman's body does. And then there's an uneducation to some degree to it, to a large degree.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. I agree. Like, yeah, that makes sense. Like, it's definitely the environment, like that plays a big part in, and we're just not paying attention to ourselves and what we need. Like, I feel that.
Economics, environment, like, you know what I mean? That's why I said diet, the psychological place of us. I was telling a friend of mine the other day, and this might be a little bit off track, but I was like, we ask for reparations financially, but can we get reparations psychologically first? Because you give me a bunch of money,
What are you gonna do with it? Right. You don't even know what to do with it, which is why, yes, come on, yeah, man. You
we
know,
don't even understand money.
yeah, yeah,
So, I
definitely.
mean, from its whole economic standpoint.
Yeah, and that's another
Yeah.
cause of burnout, and just trying to figure that out. Like, just try. I don't like my parents a lot older. Like my brother, I have a brother that's your age, like 56. My brother's 56. So I'm the youngest. Like my older sister's 16 years older than me. I'm about to be 30. So my parents were a lot older. Just the mentality, like it's not too far out of slavery and things like that. So you think and you're like, okay, well I understand why you burnt out, or why you think you gotta work till you die or whatever. Like there's no other way. Like, but yeah, just I'm just glad that we do have the space and the time to have these conversations now, because if they were given the opportunity then, like who knows what could happen. But this is good that we have this time to have these types of,
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that.
yeah.
Because that's really where it starts. Like people, we have a beginning and an end to us, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we have a beginning. In that beginning, is where it sets us up for the middle, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if your parents never got any education on certain things, how was you supposed to get it?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you owe 80% more outside of the house, but you have to have the tools to actually identify that somebody's even teaching you. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just guessing. You just guessing. So that's stressful.
Yeah.
So I guess I'm not surprised that the burnout age is 32. Like people not even stepping into careers yet anymore. Like it's just like I'm done. Like I can't do it no more.
Yep.
And I found it interesting as well that the study I was reading said that at home workers are reporting that it's worse working at home because they got to work more hours now that they're at home. So it's just wild. But a lot of jobs are considering, or they're seeing things that are happening. Like a lot of people are leaving their jobs. Like they're calling in 2018, they started saying that, corporations were panicking because people were starting to resign. So then in
Yeah.
2002, they started calling it the Great Resignation because everybody started quitting. So
Yeah.
jobs are trying to put it into place like, oh, you can have your mental health days and you can do this and all that, but I don't know, maybe it's too late. I don't know. Like people are
It
tired.
goes back to It goes back to what I said before. It's a reactionary thing. And the other part we use to mention the burnout at home, we've never been had the time of day now to look at ourselves, and that's a huge thing. So
Yeah,
everybody has to look at themselves totally different now. Even the whole actually doing business, the whole acronym of like doing business now has changed. It's not the 8 to 5. It's not the, you know what I mean? It's when you get those times in that after you wash the clothes, made dinner, the routine stuff, and when you sit down and you got that quick 5 to 10 minutes, that's when you say, "What do I do now?" That's your creativeness. So that's when you're supposed to spend time to get out of that burnout.
exactly. Exactly.
And it,
Yeah. And I used to be like when I used to have those moments and I would be by myself and stuff, I used to hate being by myself. So I would just try
I
to
did too.
time with
Mm.
whatever, like a TV show I don't even care about,
Yep.
watch it all day. Like
Mine was Seinfeld.
I'm putting on
Look, I
Living
just
Single all day. Like I'm watching it. Living Single. Like, yeah.
mine was Seinfeld. I sat there and laughed hours after hours. I didn't even know that that was a form of me being depressed.
Mm, yeah.
Like when you run away from the world because you feel like you're not being seen, because that's the other thing. Every relationship, job, personal, family,
Hmm.
everybody is still a child, and people want to be seen, regardless if you're a man or a woman. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
People want to be seen, and if you're not being seen, that can make you go to isolation,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's another, well, like you said, levels to the burnout.
Mhm.
So I'm with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
You taught me something on the levels thing, because now when I start to talk about it, you start to see it.
Hmm. Yeah. Because like I was talking about cynicism,
Mm.
like just looking at everything so negatively. Like
I
I'm
did that in
like
my depression.
it's seasons, like it comes in seasons, like around this time of year, every year, like yeah, since I was little, like it would just be bad. Like things would just be bad. Like just bad thoughts. The sun came up wrong, like I'm mad all day until the sun comes back out in the springtime. So,
Yeah.
people call that seasonal depression, but I think honestly it's just sometimes because I was talking to my therapist the other day as well, and she was saying like sometimes, your brain will remember those patterns, like what happened, and it'll
Yep.
hear something like, "Oh, remember 5 years ago we was doing whatever?
Yep.
Don't do that again." Like you start bringing up random shit, and you're like, "Oh, I'm not even there anymore." But
Right.
you are like
Yep.
you literally have to sit down and think about where you're at and where you're at mentally, like just being mindful. Like I didn't know that I had so many issues with being mindful. Like I bought me and my best friend
Mm.
this books. And she's like, "Have you read the book yet? You need to sit down and be mindful." I'm like, "What you mean? I be meditating and stuff." But literally, I don't be paying attention to what I do, like at all. I'm just
Mm.
mindlessly just, doing whatever. But now, like, I actually just take the time and sit, be like, okay, well, I'm doing this. Like, I'll make up songs in my head because I have a problem, like, paying attention for a long time. So, well, okay, I'm sitting here, I'm chilling, like,
Yeah.
I'm singing, like, so I could be mindful. And then I start drawing or something like that. And by that time, I've done like everything I need to get done. But before, I used to just sit and just think about how I wasn't doing shit.
Yeah.
So,
Well, see now for me, like that's the part of that's a societal thing where your guilt
hmm,
eats half of our brain.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So we never really move from a real honest
Hmm.
and pure place because there's so many distractions around us that actually force us to make decisions based off of those situations versus what your heart is. You know what I mean? That's why people will say, you know, man, I don't really feel like doing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like those things, like that's why I say we never stop being children because you still got that peer pressure in your job, this, that,
Mhm.
and now all that's changed, right?
Yeah.
And instead of us actually looking to love to actually move forward, we're looking to I need things to go back to the way they were.
Right.
And that's just not what it is. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. All right. Dang. Okay.
we
So,
like, we live in this false world. Like, you know what I mean? So it causes us this grief that, that's not really there. Like,
yeah, I'm the queen of that, making up shit that is not there. Like, for real. Like, the guilt, like you were saying, like, just, I feel like that's, like setting unrealistic expectations. Like that's definitely one of the ways
mm,
that APA said you should avoid, or something you should use to avoid burnout. Like, do not set unrealistic expectations. Like I used to do that a lot as well. Like, I'm gonna do all this shit in one day. Like, no,
yeah.
you're not. Like, you can't. You're not about to do that. Like, you're literally not about to go from being depressed in the bed to like, yeah, I'm about to do my hair. I'm about to do this. You're not. You're not gonna do it. If like I started setting myself up, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do 3 things a day. I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna shower, and I'll create maybe. Like, that's it. You gotta do 3 things. That's it. That's it. Like, and now I'm up to 5. But that's after like 1 or 2 years of pacing myself. Because if I don't,
Yep.
I'll fall back and then I'll get mad and feel guilty that I haven't been doing this shit when I said I was gonna do it because I didn't set real expectations. So do not set yourself up for failure. I'm a witness to that. Don't do it. You don't have to. You don't have to.
I even did do that with my art. There's certain opportunities that come up to us and the money sound good. So you want to actually find a way to do it, but it automatically says to you, don't do that. And then you go put yourself through guilt for the next hours
Right.
having conversation with everybody. Look, this is what's going on, right? Tell me what you think. And now this nigga done told you his idea. Oh, am I supposed to say that on you? Oh. He done told you his idea. Now you feel guilty. Now you got to go back home,
Right.
sit with that
Yeah.
till tomorrow morning. I
Yep.
didn't go to sleep. I didn't eat. Here come burnout.
Yep. That's it. That's
Yeah.
Oh man. So
It's like the song, games people play. But it's games we play with ourselves. You know what I mean?
man, yeah, that's why the stylistics, right?
I know it from damn, she done fucked me up. Nah, I know it from like the 80s era.
Oh, never mind. Okay. So we
She caught me off guard with that one.
I'm sorry. See, my dad was
No, that was a good one though. That was a good one. That was a really good one. They're like, your old ass should know who the stylistics is.
okay, so we touched on it a little bit, like a few of the things that we could do to avoid burnout or get out of it. So
Right.
yeah, try mindfulness. And I'm thinking about this for myself. Like, do you think there's anything as do you think there's anything as such as life balance? Or do you think you're just always juggling stuff?
Hmm. That's a good question because I never really thought about like life balance because when you start dealing with your trauma, then happiness comes in.
Hmm.
So you saying that it makes me automatically think, damn, is life balance a part of happiness? Because like after therapy for me and meditation and everything else, that's the only place that I know that's real is and it tells you, teaches you about your own happiness, right? So
Right.
that's why we start being good to everybody else. And people like, oh, I love Corey, this, that, and the other. Because I found I love myself and then I like myself, right?
Yeah.
So for life balance, I guess that's for me, that's part of the happiness and the therapy. That's part of the life balance.
Yeah.
Getting help with the trauma is life balance. Because then you have room to go somewhere further.
Right. I agree.
Because you can't go further until you clean up what's dirty,
Mm.
right?
Oh yeah. 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 If you still holding on to old shit
Yeah.
in one hand, you can't grab. Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree with that. And I was just talking to my therapist about that the other day because my friends will try to tell me stuff, but I'm just naturally, I'm just so mean to me. Like I will be very nice.
I'm glad you said something about it.
Yeah.
I'll just let you finish.
I'll just be mean to myself, and I'll just, she was just saying the other day, like, I feel like you're just being way too hard on yourself, and there's certain aspects of yourself that you're not willing to accept. And until you do, you'll never be where you think you should be, because it's not this false stuff you made up. Like,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's my thing.
But okay, I'm old, so excuse me. But what did you say just now? You said something
I'm
that actually caught my attention.
I'm so
Because
mean.
it's really, yes. So that was the other part of meditation and being happy, right? I
Hmm.
had to learn how to talk to myself.
Mm.
One of the things a friend told me one day, he said, Core, the universe, God, whoever you actually believe in, if you ask it for something, and I'm not talking about that material shit, but if you ask it for something, it don't know you playing. So if you ask for that man or that woman or that, this or that, they'll say, there you go, bingo, bing bong. You know what I'm saying? Now you got to do what you asked for to do with it. But you wasn't ready for it, and you asked for something you wasn't ready, so now you're about to go find somebody to blame
Yeah.
because you don't want to burn out.
Yeah.
As long as we can blame too, that helps with burnout.
For
I
sure.
mean, it sounds shitty, you know what I mean? But as long as we can blame something else other than ourselves, that definitely helps with burnout.
Yeah.
It's not burnout really don't exist until you by yourself. You know what I mean? That's why we get on the phone.
Right.
Tamika, what you doing? It's 7:30 in the morning. Probably sleep or getting ready for work.
Yeah. Yep. Mhm. Yeah. See, I've been there. I've had friends to do me like that, and then I've also been the friend like that. So I'm
Yes,
just thankful that some of those people are still with me today and understood, like, okay,
yes,
I'm going through some stuff, and I'm glad that yes, and I'm glad that it taught me who is really beside me and all that as well.
mm,
But it just taught me, like, yeah, I be tripping sometimes too. Like, I can't just be doing whatever and just push off my stuff off to everybody else and expect them to pick it up. Like, I don't like that when other people throw it on me. So I just had to check how I was being, what I was doing. So yeah, it's just I really don't think it's no balancing or nothing for me. I think it's juggling, like, and
yeah.
I'm fine with that. That's okay. So
Life is a big mistake,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
If you out here being your authentic self, you're gonna run into things that you know what I mean that you wasn't thinking that was gonna happen that day. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah.
if you're not out here being your authentic, real self, it's gonna be harder for you because you're gonna be watching so many other things and so many other distractions. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, he got a bigger camera than me.
Right.
What does a bigger camera mean?
That's
They
what,
both take pictures,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
photographs.
Like, most of the time it's because I'm not paying attention. Like, I'm not paying attention.
Yeah.
And I'm just all these other things. Like, well, what about this? I don't got the color green. Like, I got all these colors. And then, like, I don't got the color green though. Like, I'm so mad. Like, I literally just did it the other day over some cookies. Like, it was terrible. So yes, I'm a work in progress as well, but it's not as bad as it was. But if I didn't have
That's the key.
support during that time, like during my lowest moments, during my lowest burn,
Yeah.
like I never would have got out of those things. Like, so
Yeah.
anybody out there, if you dealing with burnout at your job, at home, whatever, you taking care of people, you taking care of yourself. Talk to somebody. You need to talk to somebody, hit one of us up. We'll point you in the right direction for sure. For sure. This has been great. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
You got any art over there? I know we was we was rapping. You got anything to show us? Okay, bet. Let me see. Okay, I'm gonna name him. What does that say? Does it say something?
Burnout.
Okay, Burnout. All right, I'm gonna name him. Hmm. I'm gonna name him Dirk. That's what I'm gonna name him.
Okay, I like that. Dirt.
He's Dirk. and then you gotta name my piece. This is kind of like I've been doing this real abstract stuff lately, man. I don't know what's going on
I
here.
see that. I like them colors on that. What can I call that?
Like this kind of looks like trees to me, but then this way I'm like, I don't know, man.
I was about to tell you to turn it that way or either sideways.
I don't know.
That's a beach.
Okay.
That's the brush. I see the that little darker part right there. That's the brush. The
Yeah.
back is the sunset,
Okay.
but it's not really any sun up there. But and then you see little streams of like water.
Nice. Yeah.
But that's only my imagination because I love water.
Yeah. Water's my thing too. Like that gives me peace
Um,
where I go when I'm experiencing burnout and stuff. So. Oh.
that's okay. So that's mine. That's where I go for burnout.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I go to nature or I go to the water.
Yeah, and like I love to move. Like I love to dance, yoga, anything I can do. So okay, before we get ready to go, are there any specific people that you go to? I know you mentioned your daughter as a source of like to stay out of that mindset. Like, are there people you talk to?
A majority of the time, it's podcast, and then friends of mine that's been around for 20 years.
Okay.
I've watched their kids grow. We pretty much raised each other kids, but several black men where conversations where it wasn't heard of that we had.
Mhm.
These are black men that actually helped raise me to be the man that
Okay, that's dope.
I am.
That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Yeah. Real good to have a support system.
Oh, definitely.
For sure.
Because every day ain't gonna be the same.
No, not at all.
You 100% today, well balanced. But tomorrow, that coffee spill on your shirt, you out of control.
For sure, for sure. And if you haven't figured all this stuff out, like we was talking about, it might be 3 or 4 times a day your mood's changing. Trust me, I know. So figure that shit out. Figure that shit out. Talk to somebody about it. Hit us up. Thank you for
Yes,
coming.
please.
I appreciate you.
Thank you, Tamika. I appreciate you. I love that you put this together. I love everything that you actually doing. Anytime I can do anything, help. Like you said, please act photo there. I'm creating a series called Convo Over Food. So it's sort of the same line over what Tamika's actually doing, but it's just actually one of the best things that actually happen in life is over food. So, and that's conversations. And they're worldwide, just like soccer.
Bet. All right. Well, I'm gonna put all his information in the link when I post this, and I'm gonna put information based on what we talked about today, so you guys can find more information and resources for
Thank
burnout. Love
you.
you guys. Peace. Good night.
Peace. Night, night, night.